All right, I've got it recording.
All right. So,
And everybody.
Oh, you muted now. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I think everybody on here knows who I am, but my name's Adam, and I went to Summit, and so I am going to show you a little slideshow that I did. You've seen some takeaways. If not, we've got some takeaways from other coaches that went to Summit as well. Mine's going to be just a slight variation because, it's my takeaway, I guess, if you will, from Summit, and more so just reiterating some of the things that we learned. I'm going to give you some of the things that I feel from Summit and how it changes not only my business, but my whole life basically. And so let me do a little screen share, and I'll show you the slideshow that I have prepared, which is not very long, but I've got some filler words because I like to ramble, so we're good. Whoops. All right, so let me not do that. How do I do this? Is it Keynote? Share screen. All right, can you see that? Are we good? Okay, let's see. Play. Summit. All right, so how do I come back over out of here now? Sorry, I'm still figuring this thing out too. All right, so Summit is Beachbody's big event in the middle of the summer. It is, like it says, it's the top of the top. So you kind of all you want to be there basically. And the reason why is because it's basically a big get together. It's a celebration, it's learning, it's mingling with your team that if you're like me or like a lot of people on Concrete, we're scattered about, so you get to actually meet each other in person. You get to go toe to toe with the big wigs in corporate of, I guess you can call it corporate of Beachbody, and also the team. You get to see some of the top coaches, things like that. And you also learn from them, things like that. So it's just kind of a really, really awesome place to get the entire spectrum of what Beachbody is. So I'm terrible at taking photos. Lindsay's usually better at this than I am. But I just took what I've got. I make goofy faces. I just accept it. I don't know why. It's just something that I do. And again, with Beachbody, you just be yourself. People know that I make goofy faces, so it's a thing. It didn't mean to be a thing, but it's a thing. But there's that. They go all out. That is just sort of a simple but profound example of how Beachbody does not cut corners with everything from this giant banner on the side of this giant building to how they make Shakeology. They just don't cut corners, and it's fan-freaking-tastic. So you'll see some very gigantic displays while you're there, among other things, the gigantic display of 25,000 coaches or however many were shut down Broadway on the picture on the bottom right here. And again, a sort of a goofy face, I think. I don't know. I'm probably exhausted because I didn't sleep much, and it's however early in the morning, jumping around like a crazy guy. And then the top right is just an example of a slide that, you get from one of the coaches speaking in their workshop. So, and I picked this because, you learned that these top coaches are pretty much just like you. They get hangups is what she called it, and it's just a part of it. It's not all bells and whistles and roses and daisies or whatever people say. You have to grind. You have to get in the trenches. So speaking of that, you learn what I get out of it is that positivity is a huge aspect of all of this. You have to feel positive, and this is just a little graphic I made, because that's part of what's going to get you through, the days that you don't feel like doing it, is just feeling positive. And that's what it makes me feel when I go to Summit or be on these calls, like Maria said earlier. She it's going to make you feel better being around us, because even if we were all somehow in a bad mood getting onto this call, we would feel better. I don't know how that would work, but it would just happen. And I know that for a fact, even though I don't think it's ever happened, but it's just real. So amplify that by however much, because being in person with all of us, who I didn't even realize I hadn't met Maria in person when I went to Summit. Like it didn't even fathom that because I've known her, 2 years or whatever it's been, and just didn't even dawn on me that I had never met her in person. So like you get that, but then that's cool over the internet. But then once you realize, like, oh my gosh, these people are like in person, it's real, you just feel so much closer to them, so much better. Like, I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but just trust me, being there, it makes you feel amazing, because you're not alone. Like my little slide said, you're not crazy, because when you're caught up in your computer and your phone, and you think you're in this alone, sometimes you think you've got everybody a phone call away or a text away or whatever, but you realize that these people are just as weird as you are, and just as real as you are, and you see them in person and you're like, holy cow, they are real. And even just the people like these top coaches that you see speak to you and stuff, these people are real. That's why I say heroes are ordinary. Like these people that like you strive to be like, you learn from, you see on these infomercials and on all on the wake up call and all this stuff. Like these are just normal people. Like who was it? Melanie Mitro was the top coach, like her very first time being the top coach, and they did a little video on her, and she was just talking about how she was a hot mess. I think that was Melanie Mitro. And like, it's true though, like we're all hot messes. And even like the top coach of the company, like you can just see how, sure, her house was amazing and she had some hairstylists, I'm sure, because she makes whatever money, but you realize at the core of it all, we're all ordinary people. And it's really cool to see like some of the top coaches just walking down the sidewalk, and like one of the co-founders of Beachbody, or what's his name? John? I don't even remember it because he's not in the limelight. Sorry. Anyway, he was just walking down the street, and we were just like, all right, that's neat. It's just normal people doing normal things, just a little bit more. And it's just pretty cool. And, even because Lindsay and I have been in a tough spot the past couple of months, and going to Summit, it made us realize that like just the glimmer of Summit, even the thought of Summit before we were going, like made us feel a lot better. And so even the faintest of light, we were pretty rough, and then we just knew that Summit was coming, and we knew that we were going to be around our team, and we knew that we were going to be around these people that build us up so much because what we did the year before, and we knew that it was going to make us feel better. And sure enough, it made us feel a lot better. Persistence. Now let's see if this video actually works. I don't know, but this is a video, and it doesn't have so much to do with persistence. I just put it here because, that's what I wanted to do. So.
And when I did, if you caught my story at the beginning, I did 2 years of nothingness. I took off. Because when I actually started, at whatever rank that was, when I actually decided, I started as a CEO. I started with consistency, creativity, and customizing right away. Office hours, right away. No distraction, right away. I adopted the persona of a CEO before I was one. You need to too.
All right. So I don't know if that was clear or if you could hear that, but the very beginning of that clip is what I really liked, and what I want to kind of hit home was that she said for 2 years she did nothing in this business, and more or less nothing. I'm sure she made some rank advancements and things like that, but like people generally will tell you that they have a sign up date and a start date. I'm no different, and I'm sure most of these people are no different. You don't normally just hit the ground running. Like there's some cushion, and it takes some time. And a lot of people expect that you're going to hit the ground running and make money and be a superstar and all this stuff right away. And it doesn't really happen that way. Like, this is literally starting a business. And I think when I signed up, I didn't realize that. Sure, you can be told that, and you know, it feels different at first because, you know, you're on the internet and you see these network marketing things, or you take what you think you understand about network marketing and you say, oh, well, it's going to make me money no matter what I do. And that's not true. So I think a lot of people fall victim to the fact that they're not patient or consistent or persistent, I guess, in this case, with what they're doing, and they expect it way too quickly. And when it doesn't happen, they fall off. And I don't even remember who this is. I apologize, but she explains that, you know, for 2 years, she didn't really do anything, but she stuck with it. And then they have some people have what they call an aha moment, and it clicks. And then all of a sudden, once she references it as starting as thinking like a CEO. That's what this whole thing was. It's about taking your fitness, you're taking it from a fitness coach to becoming a CEO, the different mentalities of it. And she said once she made that shift from a fitness coach mentality to a CEO mentality, that's when her business took off. And so that was her aha, when she realized she needed to be a CEO. She needed to take control of her business. And it took her 2 years. Some people it takes longer. Some people it takes 6 months. I know that there's people, you know, that take off in 3 months. I don't know. They're diamond in a few days. Who knows? But most people aren't like that. They'll be stagnant for a little while. And so it was just, I guess, long story short, it was just cool to understand that, you know, these top coaches struggled or still struggle. And it just made it feel more real. Again, heroes are ordinary. You know, I'm no different, because I feel like, you know, what my preconceived ideas were, you know, making money quickly, being, you know, diving right into this, being a rock star, whatever, and it didn't happen. I thought, well, there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm not doing well enough. Maybe I'm not doing this, whatever. And then you get to this thing and you're like, all these top coaches will tell you the same thing. Oh yeah, I sucked for a long time. You're just like, oh, well, cool. You know, I mean, it doesn't help my situation, but it just helps me feel better about my situation. And it helps me take control of my situation with a little more confidence, because these people were also there. And I understand that these people know how to get out of that situation. So there's probably some sort of material to help me get through my situation that they've probably curated. So, you know, that helps to just keep that drive alive. And that's one thing that I really, really took home from Summit this year, was just to stay, you know, in it, basically. And that brings me to the patience. A lot, like I said just a second ago, you know, a lot of people think it's a get rich quick or something to that effect. And it's not. It takes a long time. Again, some people shorter than others. But you'll hear it all the time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Rome wasn't built in a day. Consistency plus time equals success. And I don't know if that's the equation that everybody uses, but that's the one I use. So anyway, but it's true. You know, you have to have that time in there or you're not going to be successful. Sure, you may hit a home run, but you may not win the game. That was pretty cool. I should write that down. I like that one. Anyway, I'm kind of winging this if you guys don't understand that. But yeah, that's one thing, you know, I think it's really awesome. I've been following Gary Vee for a long time, and Beachbody got opened up to his world, last month, and it was the coolest thing ever to all of a sudden see so much Gary Vee in my newsfeed, where I didn't have to like go to his page or follow him that closely, because everyone that's a coach was reposting all of his stuff all the time, and it was so cool because he tells it like it is, and it's super freaking inspiring, but it also kind of makes you feel bad because he's right. Um, but anyway, one thing he really hit home was like, you have to be patient. You have to put in the work, and you can't expect a return right away. It doesn't happen, especially in our business. It does not happen. You can't you can't build a relationship in one day. It does not happen. And to be successful, you have to build a relationship. To be ultimately successful, long-term successful, not short-term, not that home run. I'm talking winning the game successful. You have to build a relationship, and that takes time. And that was another one that just really hit home with me. And it was something that I got to hear him talk about in Dallas. I went to a men's leadership training in Dallas and he was there as well. And that's when I really, really fell in love with what he was talking about. And then when he was coming to Summit, it was just like I got a double whammy within a few months, and it was super cool. But patience, I feel like, and now that I notice it, or now that it's brought to my attention, I notice it. So many people are impatient, and just in the world, like in life in general, people want it all now, and you can see everything is geared towards now. It's all, if it doesn't give me results in whatever it is now, like even with our food, it's engineered to taste now. It doesn't matter long-term consequences. It's now. And it sucks because now we're geared almost internally now to have everything now. And that's not how success works. That's not how long-term vitality works. And it's the same thing in this business. And that really hit home from Summit, learning all of this stuff. Did anybody notice Nika's face in the background here? That's really awesome. That's funny. Okay, anyway, let's skip that. Okay, so to kind of compare summits, because this was my second summit. My first summit, I went in thinking that my whole business was going to change. Like, this was a game changer. I heard that over and over again. Summit's a game changer. Summit's a game changer. And it is, but not in the respect that I was thinking, not in the same light. It's definitely opened your eyes to a lot of things that you didn't realize, kind of like what I just mentioned. The heroes are ordinary, that these people on your team are real, but you don't really, it didn't, like, I didn't go from nothing to superstar diamond. Didn't happen. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought, oh, I'm going to be, making money. I'm going to do this. I have this timeline, and none of it actually worked. I had a plan right after Summit. I got certified. My very first Summit, I got certified to teach PIO. I was going to teach PIO. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. And then I hurt my shoulder, and I wasn't able to even work out. I couldn't even jog for months. So, and then, when a little hiccup happens, I just derailed completely. And that's, and everything I learned at Summit, I was just, I thought basically I derailed everything, and that was my own fault. But what I remembered about Summit was that I felt better about my business. I felt more in control, I suppose, that I wasn't alone. And this year, I was expecting to feel that again. I wanted to be part of that group again, because Lindsay and I think being in Florida, it so far away from everybody. I mean, I understand, again, we're always on the internet, we're always talking, and it's great to see each other in person, and you develop really strong relationships, but it's still day to day. It's harder to, I don't know, for us, I guess maybe it was just our excuse, but it felt like we weren't close enough to what we were doing. And maybe it was just all the other distractions that were going on while we were there. But, this year I wanted to be a part of the group again. we were moving home, and we just wanted to feel like we weren't alone anymore. And I left understanding that I was part of a family, not just a group. And even more so when Amy was there, it made me understand and, like, in a sense, have that aha moment. Like, Amy wouldn't have been there if not for me. Like, everybody else on Conquer It would have been there because they're not on my downline, and Lindsay came last year because she wanted to support me. Literally on the drive there, she was like, it's not my thing, but I'm going to support you. It's like almost word for word what she said. And she ended up signing up as a coach before we even left Summit. And, but that's beside the point. But what got me this year was that Amy was there, and she's Lindsay's personally sponsored coach. And it baffled me because of, it just makes you realize that this isn't about you anymore. Once you do this business, it's not about me. And maybe for some of you, it still is, but if you want to have a long lasting why, it has to be bigger than you. It has to be. And mine is my family. That they are the root of all of that. But, like, I realized that Amy's like me in a sense where, like, this is life changing. And I had a huge part in her being there, in her, just seeing her be there. I didn't know her before this. I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody, but it was unreal for me. And that was just like a light bulb. I'm just like, holy cow, I have the power, if not just by, like, inadvertently, indirectly helping so many people just by getting out of my own way. Like, yeah, I can be uncomfortable inviting people and going through all these processes and things like that. But then when you realize that these people, all of this stuff comes together, and these people are real, like, they have families, they have goals, they have, physical goals they want to meet, they have financial goals, they have all of this crazy stuff happening in their life too, just like I do. And just, I don't know, all of that just came together when I saw Amy there, because she wouldn't have been there without me. Maria would have been there. No offense, but, like, Maria would have been there without me. Like, Nika's been there, Ophie's been there, and that's great. But, like, and it made me think about my family, like my mom, and how much she's lost 80 pounds. Like, that's unreal for me. And that's because of, like, the things that I'm doing. I get back to Indiana and I realize that, like, my dad's on his bike every day, eating healthier. My sister's training for a marathon. What is that? Like, my niece is coming to Ophie's live classes now. Like, she's the most uncoordinated person I've ever met. And she's over here doing stuff. And it's just like, this is the domino effect. And it's all because I tried to, 5 years ago, I did Power 90, and I had no idea the implications. I had no idea what all this stuff would do until I got to Summit this year and Amy was standing there. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but it just, an avalanche of just amazingness hit me because of that. And I wouldn't have felt that if I hadn't gone to Summit and met Amy in person. Just wouldn't happen. There's no way. I would have come home, but, like, my family knows me and I know my family. And it's like, I'm too close to the picture to see the whole thing, if that makes sense. Like, I guess that's the best, analogy or whatever. Like, you can't see the whole thing when you're right here, but, like, when you step back and you see outside of your family and you see people that haven't grown up with you and aren't just, in the thick of it with you, you see them kind of trusting you and trusting Lindsay and trusting what we're doing in our group that we are in, and all of this stuff because of our connection with it all. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, anyway, it got me thinking all of that. And I realized, so there's us. And that's my downline from Summit. So I don't know. I'm still, like, it makes me speechless. Like, it just gets me all flustered. But anyway, that's my slideshow. And let me not share my screen anymore somehow. And oh, there it is. So yeah, I know we only have a few minutes left, but anyway, that's kind of the thick of it. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope some of that made sense. I hope all of it made sense. But definitely a different take on you know, what you've heard before from the other speakers and stuff. But yeah, anyway, there you go.
The coach that you were showing us the video, that's Trina Gray.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I found her to be I took more notes from her than any of the other top coaches because she was so passionate and she had such a fire. So I am totally with you on her. She was fantastic.
Yep. Okay. So remember that Trina Gray, check her out because it was definitely, she's worth following for sure. I mean, a lot of them are, but like definitely check her out for sure. But I know we don't have much time, but does anybody have any questions? I mean, to kind of explain any of that any better, I don't know. But
I thought you were awesome, Adam. Thank you. I love the aha moments at Summit are pretty incredible, and it's great to hear yours. And I do remember seeing you with Amy and seeing, like, wow, totally astounded. I mean, between you and Lindsay with her, it was really very cool. So
yeah,
I love that. You made it very personal, and that's not so easy to do when you're talking about a summit of 25,000 people. And but it reminds us, it reminded me very much, it is a relationship business. It is building that relationship one person at a time, and you absolutely showed that incredibly well. So thank you.
you're welcome.
Agree. Anybody else have any questions? Comments? We're all going to see each other next year, so we're all going to have the same feelings. When I get to see my personally sponsored next year, I'm going to know exactly how you feel. She's going to be there. She has a ticket.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So you'll walk across the stage with Lindsay showing some guns and stuff. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. It's definitely an unreal experience that makes it real. I guess. It's amazing.
That's perfect. Unreal experience that makes it real. Totally perfect. So does anybody want to take a picture before the time runs out? I have that big light above me, or I would do it. It glares off my computer screen. So it's totally up to you guys. If somebody can take a picture, I don't know.
I could take a screenshot at least.
That'll work.
That way we can, let me enter. All right. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2,
Smile, Lisa.
1. All right.
She's on her phone. That's no fair. But no, I mean, guys, you guys that were there with us, we know how he feels, and you guys that maybe can try to come next year or whenever you're able. And the other thing too to kind of keep in mind is if you have an event coming up, October 29th, right, Nika, is the next Super Saturday, Super Sunday weekend. Look it up on your online office. If you can't make it to Indianapolis or Columbus, Ohio, or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, if you look in your city, you may find something that's within an hour driving distance of where you live, and go be there, because even though it's not as big as Summit, it's like a portion of what Summit is, but it's still that life-changing moments where you meet these people. I went to the one in Columbus, Ohio. It wasn't my team, but I made several friends, and the stories were incredible, and the passion that those people feel are the same passion that you feel. So yeah, it's amazing. So
Lindsay and I started this business going to Orlando, and it's the same thing. Like I don't think anybody, and even Julie's team, maybe, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still that feel good vibes for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if nobody has anything, we have 2 minutes and 33 seconds because I'm cheap and I don't upgrade to the pro. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the recording off here real quick. Let me do